Welcome, everybody, to our second edition of the WWE Takeover of Hollywood. I am the Podfather. I am joined by the Grizzled Vet, Michael McCurdy. Michael, what's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Doing good. How about yourself?
Dude, it's another day in the neighborhood up here, man. I'm just trying to retake Hollywood and make them WWE superstars. You know, I mean, who doesn't want to do that, right?
These movies will never make air.
Not $1. Not one damn dollar. Now, this one here, you're going to have to kind of suspend disbelief a little bit because, like, for one thing, these kids are not in high school anymore. That is, we are going to take over Hollywood with the Breakfast Club, WWE style.
Yeah, you're going to have to suspend disbelief because, yeah, obviously
grown
WWE superstars are not going to be high school kids in detention on a Saturday in Shermer, Illinois.
Right. So, Mike, this was your choice of a movie, so let's start with you. Let's go with number one. This guy,
Bender. Okay, this is gonna be one of the ones where people kind of go, "What?" But for Bender, for me, I went with Seth Rollins.
Okay.
I just thought, kind of the kind of just he'd be more the. He fit more that smart ass kind of smug guy. I could see him arguing, with Principal Vernon and all that over things more than anybody. But yeah, he's the first one. The other option that did come to mind for a couple minutes or whatever was Dominic Mysterio.
Okay. Well, ChatGPT went with CM Punk. No. Being the rebel, being the one that's defies authority. Kind of agreed with them on that part. Granted, you have to suspend the tattoo part of it because you're in high school. But, I mean, it'd be hard to think of anybody else in my mind. I mean, Seth Rollins he's a good pick. Kind of the clown of wrestling in a way because of how he dress and stuff. So I don't see that filtering into this. But again, we're telling the same movie just with WWE superstars, which I just think Punk has more of the acting chops of being that rebel, that more so than Rollins has.
I have a problem with Punk because one, the tattoos, and he's the straight edge type of guy. And Bender, although they never came out to say it, Bender was never portrayed as a straight edge type of character. You could see Bender, drinking beer with his buddies. You could see Bender smoking cigarettes on it, which isn't Punk's character.
Right.
So going character-wise, I couldn't see Punk fitting into that one.
Well, that's what you give the guy the Academy Award for going against type there. I mean, really.
Well, nobody's going to win an Academy Award in our movies.
Fair. All right, and we'll circle back to this for more debate here. We're going to go to the roster here real quick. And we got Molly Ringwald. She played the
She played Claire.
Claire, yes.
She was the princess. She was Claire. And for this choice, I went with Tiffany Stratton.
Oddly enough, so did ChatGPT.
Hey, I'm going with AI. All right.
How about that? And you know what? It's hard not to think that way either. But you know what? I'm going to go a little different. Okay. Give me Charlotte Flair.
That's not bad. That's not
kind of has a role given to her a little bit. Kind of, doesn't belong in a room full of degenerates. Yet here she is.
But also on the flip side, though, Claire is she's an innocent kind of one in this movie, too. So I don't know if Charlotte Flair plays off the innocent look. Fair. Tiffany, I think, could actually do that a little bit better.
Well, in that case, she's go with Lyra.
Yeah, but yeah.
Again, we're going to circle back to it because we got less of a cast and more of a show to talk about. So
yeah, most definitely, yeah. Short cast.
I think we're going to agree on this one, though.
Okay. Who did you choose?
No. Who did you choose? It's your show, buddy.
Hey, you made me pick first like the last time.
Okay. Well, but myself and ChatGPT both agreed Braun Breaker would be the athlete.
Oh, we didn't agree. Nope. I went with Chad Gable.
Okay.
I went with Chad Gable. Chad Gable struck me more as the all-American wrestler, high school kid, whatever. So, yeah, I went immediately. This is the first one I picked before everybody else, and I immediately said Chad Gable.
Okay.
And no, not OG El Grande Americano, which we now know.
Look,
He was the man under the
I
mask.
think Chad Gable is stepping in for that role to help him out because there have been some issues, but
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, okay, so you got Chad Gable on this. I got myself and ChatGPT think it's Braun Breaker. Well, ChatGPT thought that this guy was Chad Gable.
No, Chad Gable's not really the nerd. This is the one where you're going to look at me and ask me what I was smoking when I made this choice.
You thought Sheamus, didn't you?
No, I made he's current roster, but it's not current incarnation on the roster. My choice for this one was Danhausen, but Donovan Danhausen, his indie persona before he got the makeup and became the, very nice, very evil type of guy. Like I said, this one, I thought about it. Danhausen, the man himself, fit this character, but Danhausen, very nice, very evil, did not. But I still went with Donovan Danhausen for Brian in this one.
This one's tough.
It is, and I knew this choice was going to be one of the ones that made you go, "What the fuck were you thinking?"
No, I see your logic a little bit. I'm gonna go with Sami Zayn.
Okay.
Just because the one that thinks he's cool but he's really not, kind of fits the Sami Zayn vibe a little bit.
Yeah, I thought about that about Danhausen, but I wanted Donovan Danhausen.
All right. We'll circle back. And of course, we got Ali Sheedy's character.
That was Allison. And I stepped out of current roster. This one was recently released. I went with Nikki Cross.
All right.
And no, not the Wyatt Six Nikki Cross with the weird makeup, whatever. I went with like kind of the original Nikki Cross.
Okay. Well, ChatGPT went with Alexa Bliss.
No.
You put a black wig on Alexa Bliss and give her kind of no makeup and kind of a plain look. She can kind of pull it off.
Well, yeah, because later on in the movie, she has to
right.
be beautified.
Then he jacked her up with all sorts of trucker makeup, and all of a sudden she's the hottest thing going. So, could I see a Rhea Ripley in that role? It's hard to with all the face piercings and all the tattoos and stuff because that's what you see of her.
Mm.
But this one's tough.
And you thought Brian was going to be tough.
Huh?
You thought Brian was going to be tough.
They're all kind of tough because again,
these are grown adults. Yeah,
well, we're casting grown adults to play teenagers. This is kind of weird. I'm gonna go outside the box in my own little realm and go Rhea Ripley on this one.
Okay.
Or you know what? No, I got to change that. I'm gonna go with dulled down Alexa Bliss because of what she'll turn into at the end of the movie.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with that. All right. If Vince McMahon was still with the company, doesn't this guy kind of fit the bill?
Well, yeah. Vince McMahon would definitely be. I thought that same thing that Vince would kind of be the.
Oh my God, that is
the guy running this whole thing
all the fucking way. He got the hairstyle and everything.
Yeah, I thought Vince. Triple H came to mind in his current role. Triple H came to mind. Shawn Michaels came to mind. But in the end, I thought of one. And I thought, you know what, this could be fun. And I wanted to see Paul Heyman as Principal Vernon.
Right. And I kind of understand that. Also depending, again, who John Bender would be, the criminal.
This is true. Because they interact a lot in the very beginning of that film.
Huh. Well, I asked ChatGPT, who do you think could play the principal? They mentioned Paul Heyman. They mentioned The Miz.
Oh God, no.
They mentioned Drew McIntyre.
I think
Then
Drew
they
McIntyre
mentioned
would almost
Gunther.
be too menacing.
Then they mentioned Gunther.
Gunther's an interesting choice.
He's menacing as hell.
Yeah, he's a different
Then again,
choice.
so is Drew McIntyre.
But Drew's so big. I don't think I've ever met a high school principal that could go win a bodybuilding competition on a Saturday. You know?
Well, here he is.
I
So
like Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman.
That's my choice.
I'm
That
kind
was my
of
choice.
going with you on that one too. But all right. And last but not least, this guy right here.
Carl the janitor.
He's the janitor.
And he's still in every high school. That's the great thing about this movie. These people are still in every high school across the U.S. The story never changes. The people never change. My daughter's in high school now, and there's a Carl the janitor there. Has keys to everything, has the kids he likes, has the kids he don't like, and always has like a piece of advice or candy.
Right.
I'm not kidding. So, yeah, these people are still in high school. Nothing about this movie has aged. You know, there's no, I mean, maybe the music and stuff in there might be a little old because it's 80s, but the story and the characters, they still play today. That's the fun part of this.
Then who do you cast?
A WWE cast might be a little different. For Carl, I went with Sami Zayn.
That was a choice that ChatGPT did throw out there.
Me and ChatGPT, we're one-on-one here.
But they also threw out a couple other names. They said Paul Heyman on this as well.
No.
They said Kofi Kingston, again, not with company. And they also said R-Truth. What if R-Truth was the guy that was really in charge of that place?
R-Truth could be interesting. I always liked Carl. I always liked his character in the movie because, you know, Principal Vernon, but Carl's the one who knew everything. You knew he was the guy to go to, not Principal Vernon. Principal Vernon was just like the figurehead.
Right. So you're going to go with who?
Same as in.
I'm going to go R-Truth.
Okay.
So that gives us some time to debate a little bit of this. Let's start back up here with this gentleman right here.
And we may not even go with our choices. We might pick a third. Who knows?
That's true. That's true. So who did you say for this one?
I said Seth Rollins.
And I said CM Punk.
Yes.
I think you kind of got me on the whole straight edge thing, so I'll go with Seth Rollins on that.
Okay.
Okay.
One for me.
So if you go with Seth Rollins on her, don't you go Becky Lynch with her?
You could. I mean, that would be an interesting choice, being, if we want to go real life, husband and wife and all that. Yeah.
Right.
I originally said Tiffany Stratton because I just see that, the princess in there. You said Charlotte Flair.
I did. Well, did I sway you on Charlotte Flair?
No, I don't see Charlotte Flair in this one because Charlotte Flair is more I'm too good for everybody. Claire was just like an innocent, I didn't see conceit in her. She just seemed like kind of the innocent girl, maybe influenced by the other girls. I never have seen Claire as the conceited type of, they say she's conceited. That's one of the gist of the movie with Brian is that, she's so conceited, but I never saw that with her. And I think Tiffany Stratton pulls off the, the innocent kind of girl more than Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair was like a girl with attitude that would be like, I'm queen bitch around here, deal with it.
Yeah. And of course, with Becky Lynch, there'd be too much head trauma there to deal with, being the end all be all.
Mm.
But then there's that dynamic with him.
Yeah. I didn't think of that when I made these choices.
Yeah.
I could be persuaded to go with Becky Lynch.
Okay. Then let's go Becky Lynch then, okay?
Okay.
All right. Then we got the athlete.
Which you thought we'd both agree on, and we did not.
We did not. You went Chad Gable, I went Braun Breaker.
Chad Gable looks to me like the more damn dog. Chad Gable looks to me more like the all-American, high school wrestler. Braun Breaker does not have that all-American, jock look to him.
But
this part.
But doesn't Braun Breaker look like the guy who might be who has that high school, oh my God, this guy's gonna be a beast when he's older type thing, and he might as well be, but he looks kind of like maybe he's torn apart by the parent dynamic that he was.
Nothing about Andrew is this future. Oh my God, he's gonna be such a great talent, whatever. He's just your typical high school athlete. That's why I thought Chad Gable. Braun Breaker looks like a guy that you expect big things from him just because of how he looks. Chad Gable could pull off the All-American look a little bit better.
Okay. Well, if we're going to go based on wrestler or athlete or whatever, he played a wrestler in high school, and Braun Breaker looks like he should be like a linebacker more than anything else. So
yeah.
So yeah, I'll go Chad Gable on that.
Okay.
All right. I said Sami Zayn.
And I said Donovan Danhausen, currently Danhausen, but just not with the makeup and the very nice, very evil.
But that wouldn't work for WWE strict because I got to look at the, if I'm going to cast Kane in something, he's got to have a mask on. I don't want the bald Kane. I don't want the Governor Kane. I want the masked guy. So he had to be Kane with a mask.
So he would have to be Danhausen with the makeup?
Yeah, and I don't see that with him. I probably could see that with him, but I don't want to see that with him.
No. But I don't see I do not see Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn does not fit this.
Okay, let me ask you this then. What about Dom?
Dominic's not a nerd though. Dominic wouldn't be in
No,
science.
But the earlier Dom was. Before he became Dirty Dom.
Earlier Dominic Mysterio, I would agree with you. Current Dominic Mysterio, I would not.
Okay. But it's something he can definitely revert back to.
Yeah. Well, he'd have to shave off the stash and lose the mullet and everything else. But I definitely don't see Sami Zayn in this part. And like I said, I see Danhausen, but he can't have the makeup. Because Donovan Danhausen is basically a movie geek, a comic book geek, and he admits to that. So what did ChatGPT suggest?
They said Chad Gable.
Oh, God, no. That's even worse because Chad's in too good of a shape. You can definitely tell you Brian was not in,
Yeah, but everybody that is in good shape minus Dominic, minus Danhausen, but Danhausen's got his own little look about him with the makeup.
Yeah.
What about The Miz?
Maybe The Miz, but I almost think The Miz is too cocky.
Miz right now is too strong of a character for that.
Yeah.
Clearly. But Miz of 20 years ago.
Another one just popped in my head just of looking. He's got the build for it and all that. And it just popped in my head. I don't know why, but Nathan Frazier.
I need to be reminded of who that is.
He's with Fraxium, the tag team.
Okay. Yeah.
He's the guy without the mask.
Okay. Again, this is a star-making performance. Would that make him a star?
It could. But that just popped in my head with Nathan Frazier. He just kind of popped up.
This one's a tough one.
It is.
No, it's not as tough as this one, but it's definitely as tough.
Yeah. I don't know. Definitely not Sami Zayn though. That definitely is.
Okay. Sami Zayn's been fired from the. You can't even have the donuts in the backstage area. Don't worry about it. See, that's the thing about Anthony Michael Hall back in the day. He has such that look, that
he was the geek.
Yeah, I mean, he had the Rusty from Vacation, the Johnny Be Good, he had
Weird
so
Science.
Many, Weird Science. He had so many geeky type whatever roles. And when you look at WWE's roster, there is no one really that fits it, except for maybe Danhausen, like you said.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to build a human being right now.
If you look at his career, Anthony Michael Hall in the 16 Candles is literally called the Geek. His name is Ted, but he's listed as the Geek in the cast listing.
Right. Huh.
It wasn't until, like you said, Johnny Be Good, and later on, like, Edward Scissorhands, and then of course where he became this like brute tough guy looking dude. He definitely went a 180.
We have to pick somebody for him, so I'm going to go against my own rules here. I'm going to go against not saying Danhausen, because right now he's the only one that really fits that build.
I'm going to stick with Danhausen.
Okay, Danhausen.
Just without because people know who Donovan Danhausen is.
Right.
Then
I went with Alexa Bliss in this one.
I said Nikki Cross.
You said Nikki Cross. That's going to be a toss-up right there, because I think you get more of the star power with Alexa Bliss. People kind of forget who Nikki Cross is.
And, of course, with Alexa, too, you also would kind of get that character, because
you get that character at the end, too.
Yeah, she's not, because Allison is not bad. As she said, I didn't have anything better to do. She's kind of the misfit. She's kind of the odd one out. She doesn't do anything to get detention. She doesn't have anything better to do.
Which would explain Alexa Bliss.
And then of course, Allison makes her up, or Clara makes her up, becomes Allison, which is my daughter's worst part of the movie. She hates it because she said they had to make her up, make her look all pretty for the boy to like her, which is kind of true. If you pretty yourself up, the boys will like you. It's a great message to give, young girls.
So you're gonna go with me on Alexa Bliss, or you're gonna stick with Nikki Cross?
I'll go with you on Alexa Bliss.
Okay. And boy, if only Vince didn't screw things up.
Yeah. I thought
if Vince didn't screw things up, but no, we went with Paul Heyman on him, right?
Yeah, I went with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I agree. And last but not least, I said R-Truth for him. You said
I went with Sami Zayn on this one.
Okay.
I don't know about R-Truth though.
I mean, R-Truth can come off as someone who is a lot smarter than he comes across.
True.
Sami Zayn just looks like he's dumb.
Well, I suppose I could sway your direction and go with R-Truth.
Okay. Well, we did it again, Mike. We recasted a cult classic. We have ruined Hollywood for all there is to be ruined. I cannot wait for next week when we do it again.
Wait till you hear my next pick.
Oh, well, you know what? Everybody tune in. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Podfather channel here on YouTube. And also go check out my friend Michael McCurdy, the Grizzled Vet. Go ahead, sir.
You can find me on Get Your Bell Rung Pro Wrestling Podcast. You can find me on Talking Off the Top Rope on the Retro Wrestling Archive Podcast Network. You can also hear me on Wrestling Memories on Pioneer 90.1 FM, KSRQ, and of course also now on the Podfather channel, where we try to recast movies and see if we can make a buck.
There we go, and we're not making $1. $1 stinking dollar. No. That's it, everybody. See y'all next week.